World Trigger. Now, recently I've been hearing, Street's been talking, and they're saying this current arc is not that good. And I very much disagree. I do get what you're saying, though. I'm not going to be one of those guys that just, ugh, you hate this art? Get out of here. Stop reading. You're trash, bad opinion, yada, yada, yada. I do kind of get it. But I feel like people that enjoy this current World Trigger arc do it, like see, I don't want to be the guy that's like they're real fans, but I mean they are. So is what it is. I feel like this World Trigger arc is more so people because like the main appeal for World Trigger has always been the strategy, right? So the fact that this very technical, um, yeah, very technical, a lot of strategy going on, high IQ throughout the cast is just very refreshing to see, and because of how strategic World Trigger is, people forget. I don't like using this term, but it's very meathead. Like they fight all the time. I'm talking all the time. Like every volume has multiple fights every single time. Like from volume one all the way to the current volume. Well, before the current arc, always been fights. There've been always invasions, some like beef going on, fighting always. Like we don't really get downtime arcs. Like legit, it's just we get downtime scenes, but like volumes are like 10 chapters. Like you're never gonna get like 8 chapters straight of just downtime. That's not happening. So yeah, a lot of people they're used to just fighting, strategic fighting, just like fighting, fighting, fighting. And then now we're finding in the arc where we don't get direct fighting, and we get like a good amount of arcs of them taking the exam. This is a very important arc too, but because they're waiting for these chapters that don't have the usual fighting, um, yeah, they don't have the usual fighting. People get off, but they're like, huh, I wonder what. Like they feel like the arc's like missing something, or like they're like, War Trigger isn't really hidden like it used to, and I'm 99% sure is because there's just a lack of fighting, and it doesn't seem that way again because in the series where fighting is more like in your face, like it's not really as prominent because like War Trigger they do like low key fighting. It's like you don't really notice. I know it sounds weird that you don't notice people fighting, but it doesn't feel like they're fighting all the time because of just how they go about the fights. There's just a lot of like thinking and brain stuff going on. So you're more saying, oh, you kind of look at the fights from a like they're like thinking more than like fighting. So, but then now that they're just doing the thinking alone without the actual fights, it feels a bit off. But yeah, like that's pretty much I would say the main reason. But I think that that's why the arc is good because number one, a lot of authors would kind of brush through an arc like this because you don't really need to show like everything about how they're gonna go to the way mission. You just kind of okay, big mission coming up, and then when you're preparing for it, you kind of montage the preparations. We've all seen it, Tankers will go on like a run for like like some training, talk a bit, yada yada, just montage, montage, boom, away mission time. He could have done that easily, and people probably wouldn't have cared too much. But the fact that he's actually taking his time and building the cast, I think is a really good move. And some people say that like he doesn't care, that's why he's doing this arc, which is like the opposite. Like because he cares, he's doing this arc. Because the away mission, people don't understand how fucked up that away mission is about to be. So having an arc to kind of just go through one last time, happy moments, characters chilling, because the kind of content we're getting here is insane. Like we're getting people like we're getting like our fave characters in like situations we've never had before. Because again, a lot of the situations have been from a battle perspective. Of course, we had scenes they're at cafes, stuff like that, but they're usually around friends. They're usually around people like teammates, family, stuff like that. So we always get to see them when they're at the most comfortable or when they're fighting. We don't really get to see how they interact when they're just waking up or when they're in like when they have some roommates they don't really know, stuff like that. And there's so many different kind of characters. Like there's legit characters that are shy, characters that are super confident, characters that are loudmouths, characters that are super smart, not so smart. Like it's all around, and we see like each one of them, and also we get to see how like the character dynamics and stuff. Because like what this arc told me is that the top tiers or the S ranks they really fucking care about they're like B ranks and C ranks, because usually the top heads of like the arcs, I mean of like organizations and stuff, they usually don't care about like the lower end people. But I'm seeing legit like there'll be a girl named Susie, right? Then they'll be like, oh, they're like Susie said, XYZ, and then an A rank would be like, oh, Susie, like the same Susie that got straight A's the past 2 years. They're like, yeah, that's Susie. They're like, wow, okay, Susie's pretty cool. I'm just like, how do you know Susie's grades? Like this legit happened in the story. Like some like they knew the grades of one of like the B or C ranks. I was like, the grades? What the fuck? How do you know the grades, bruh? Like they really pay attention. I mean, if he's taking his time fleshing out this training process, it actually gives me more faith in him and their way mission. Exactly. The fact that he's taking his time with this shows that like yeah, like it really gives me more faith that he knows what he's doing for the away mission. And I really do think the away mission is gonna be pretty damn gruesome. So having at least getting these moments, because we just finished y'all know how long B rank Wars was? That was a lot of volume straight of just fighting, stressful ass fighting. And then now, and the thing is, if they fail here, they still won't make the away mission. So there's still stakes. Like we need to pass here. Like this decides who goes. So it's not like this arc is just like a random arc. Like we need this. So like, yeah, this art is really doing this thing, and also we're getting some Tryon stuff I've never had before, like this Tryon Funker that like they're chipping in, that like they use Tryon to like access different things, and then even the Tryon pens that were like magnets and stuff like that. It's like damn, and then we're also getting behind the scenes of why Border does certain things and stuff like that. Like the arc is like this is good for its world building. Like Border as an organization is already one of the best orgs of all time, and the fact that this arc is really like emphasizing why that's the case, it's like it's really good. I don't really understand the slander. Like I can get people say, "Oh, it's boring," yada yada yada. But again, we're getting fresh new scenes of all our favorite characters. Like if you enjoy these characters, you're gonna enjoy the art. It's really that simple. So again, that's why I think that most of it just comes from people. They just don't enjoy the characters. They like the fights. So the characters fighting, they're like, cool. These characters are fighting, and then they're watching the fights are pretty good. But like when the characters are just being themselves, being in new situations, we're seeing new sides to these characters that we all like. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's not boring. None of that. So it's like, dog, come on now. Y'all can't be, y'all can't be capping on Ashihara. He's clean. So yeah, I'm excited. I still didn't catch up yet, so I definitely need to catch up and start getting my more War Chicken content going. But yeah, I really do think this arc is good, and it's gonna. I feel like this arc, when it's all said and done, is gonna end up like retrospectively. Like we'll look back in hindsight and be like, damn, have you really had an arc like this before in like a battle shonen? The answer is probably no. Like get this much dedication spent on like prepping. It's cool. It's mad cool. And he's really doing like he's keeping it interesting as well with like the test and the different ways you can do it, and he's keeping the rules very vague. Like the thinking process that go behind a lot of these decisions is so cool. Some people saying, "Oh, let's not cheat." Some people say, "Oh, let's cheat." Yada yada yada. Some people say, "Oh, but they don't care. If they cared about cheating, they'll do this." Oh, if you do that, yada yada. And then some people have more confidence in their captains, so they'll be like, "Okay, you go ahead." Some people, it's almost like they have two captains. Some captains are too like weak-willed, so it's almost like they're not there. Stuff like that. So it's like, come on now. You're gonna like even more when you catch up, man. These past few chapters been good. All caps good. Woo! So you got me, bro. After you got to, I'm definitely peaking your trigger. So yeah, this current arc again, I think it's been really good. I really do. Like I said, I get why people might not be too into it. Again, it's most likely because y'all just don't care for the characters and y'all miss the fights. Y'all just don't know you missed the fights, but that's probably it. Because that's basically the only thing that's not here. We got all the gas characters, all the fire characters, cool moments and stuff. It's just not like team fights. Like that's pretty much it. But yeah, so this arc is necessary, needed for that way mission. I'm glad he's doing it. And if y'all hating, y'all can just keep hating. Because I try go and keep dropping gas and there's nothing y'all can do about it. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, check the description. All the links there. Main channel, all that. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon too. Link, again, in the description. Yeah. I appreciate it. And I'm going to catch y'all later.